Queen wanted the women to know that relationships represent the kind of place where truth can be twisted. But it would only be for a matter of time that what was twisted would regain its originality and expose what looked like to be a great man. Simeon also on trial in the relationship, and Velvet would sit at the table of fellowship with Queen like Judas did at the table with Jesus. Simeon and Velvet sat next to Queen with the underhanded expression and agenda, with feelings for each other would eventually be exposed. Both knew that they intended to fall into bed and to fall out of friendship with Queen. Both were willing to take that risk at whatever cost. The problem, women, is we are emotionally tied to the least on the chessboard. Simeon looked like he could be king, but he was a pawn. You know how it is with the chessboard. There are many moves you can make, but the wrong move could put you in a position to be checked, checkmate, and you lose the game. Simeon was a pawn. He tried to make me believe that I was the one with the problem, ladies. Simeon found every reason to mess up. He despised my efforts, ability, and my strength. He tried methods of not connecting, staying away from me, breaking routines of communicating, or seeming that he was frustrated with my mere presence. Yes, ladies, he was jealous of my success because I am Queen. Simeon had behaviors of distance and reasons why he wasn't making our dates and appointments that we would make. Sound familiar yet, ladies? Instead of meeting me, he was meeting Velvet, my best friend. Simeon found ways to bail out, and before I knew it, he had me in my emotional prison where I would be sitting in the dark at night. I could see that my emotionalism was changing my strengths into weaknesses. Simeon had become my kryptonite. Depression, rage, and upset toward him were on the inside of me waiting to burst. I had become his prey because he had created moments of pain that caused me to hate him. He had me locked up in my own emotions. Rejection, the feelings of being alone, destructive behaviors or emotions purposed to affect my self-esteem. This type of anguish has its purpose against you, ladies, just like it was against me. But because I am Queen, I recognize what abandonment is. I know what the luxuries of revenge and betrayal are purposed to do. Therefore, I decided not to dwell in my hurt. If you are enjoying the Sheba Talks, the Storyteller series, follow us on YouTube by subscribing, liking, and commenting. Visit our YouTube at the Collaboration 369. I had to deal with him putting his hobbies first, his job first, and his ambitions first. Velvet was his hobby. His job was to be there for her, and his ambition was to do everything that he could to please himself because there was no business. I had to deal with his lack of consideration, the feelings of being discarded and betrayed because he valued his time with Velvet instead of me. The whole time, I didn't know what was happening until the evening that I walked in on them. The room was dark, with low lights on, rose petals all over the floor, yellow rose petals, red rose petals, and pink rose petals. Candles were lit with the scent of fresh roses. The atmosphere in the house when I walked in was absolutely amazing, but unfortunately, it was not for me. He was emotionally absent and physically absent from me. Even after I was taking all that blame, knowing that it was not my fault, and the whole time he knew because he was cheating with my best friend. He would complain to me about his education, but he didn't have a degree when I got with him. I began to use my expertise to help him accomplish his goals, but he was too jealous. Therefore, he limited his finances and his opportunity. He was a freight train waiting to run me over. He was terrorizing me emotionally, and I was traumatized when I cracked the bedroom door and saw Velvet. Tears were running down my eyes. I was grasping to breathe, but I had to maintain my silence so that they would not ever know that I was present. He was unfaithful to the loyal me. I am Queen. He was holding me captive, and on the inside I was screaming. I knew I had to become my own hero. His mission toward me was one of revenge, terror, and destruction. My eyes were now open and I was aware. The longer I kept my eyes closed to the truth, the longer I experienced being terrorized. The long nights and days of emotional torture touched every weakness in my being. His faults and failures had become mine, and I had wrapped myself in his weakness. I now had to reach down and take my strength to wrap myself up so that I could stand under the emotional pressure that was put upon me as an attack from him, Simeon. He made me believe that he had all the answers when the whole time it was about his own individuality. His individuality caused him to look for comfort in my best friend. Him and I would never work. His disloyalty was all he cared about. He knocked me down on purpose, and everything that was happening to me emotionally was his fault, not mine. His actions of betrayal tried to break me. I felt defeated without hope. Yet my strength had me thinking about my next move, and I would have to find the warrior in me, the Wonder Woman who would get up despite the weight of what was holding me down. I am Queen, the author and narrator of Sheba Talks, the Storyteller. If you are enjoying the episodes, subscribe, like, and comment on my YouTube channel at the Collaboration 369. This story continues. Bitterness tried to infiltrate me, but I will rise in love, concern, and kindness. I will not let him inject me with hate and bitterness or bad behaviors that are not suited for my wins. I will not allow extreme rejection, and being extremely emotional and sensitive to hopelessness, to cause such great pain that my perception and focus are off. I will not allow his criticism of me, believing that I had fallen short of the standards and expectations by allowing his disloyalty to blame my loyalty. It was the moment walking out the door of the apartment that I realized that I had fallen in love with a pawn and not a king. He was about to find out what it felt like to be dismissed from an entire palace like Vashti in the Bible, in the Book of Esther. I am Queen. I take responsibility and accountability for saying yes to him when I should have said no. I'm not going to blame him for my trauma or my expectations of believing that he could hold me down. I will not stand in the position of a victim, but reality has now kicked in, and blaming him won't heal me, hating him won't heal me, disliking him won't heal me, so I must become my own hero. I must rise and get up, realizing that he is not able to carry me into life's next move. I will use my intelligence, wisdom, and understanding to correct my errors. I will respond to Simeon and Velvet, my best friend, with maturity and not immaturity. Everything in me was screaming to go cuss them out, to go fight. I will not use the methods of pain, but my understanding and perception will put me in a position to challenge how I will fix myself. I will not listen to my yelling, screaming, and frustration by dismantling Simeon and Velvet or the next great move for myself. Understanding that rage will make me struggle, bitterness will give me excuses, and purpose will not leave me in ruins. I will not panic, but I will address myself and not them. I will not be a woman scorned, but I will be a woman intelligent and strong, standing on the outside of my rage and pain, operating in forgiveness, and providing myself a solution of change. Subscribe.